Oh, as I'm not on the usual screen, hello everyone. How are we? Hopefully, all of you are having a fantastic day wherever we are around the world. And welcome back to yet another Liverpool news episode for you guys this evening. Hopefully, everyone's well. Hopefully, everyone's all good. And yeah, welcome back to yet more Liverpool news. Of course, we're going to be talking about Florian Wirtz. We're going to be talking, of course, about Jarell Quansah and, of course, the goalkeeper Jaros as well, who looks like he's going to potentially go to Ajax this summer, of course, to follow in the footsteps of course, Johnny Heitinga, which again would be a kind of a good move for them in particular. Of course, we are going to discuss Florian Wirtz a bit later on in the episode. But again, let me know how all of you are in the comments. Of course, we did have the Here We Go from Fabrizio Romano, but we've had no other confirmation from any other journalist at the present moment in time on whether or not, again, will it be 10 o'clock tonight like it was last night, or will it be tomorrow morning as well? It will be an interesting one, to say the least anyway. But again, let me know who all of you are down in the comments down below, of course, as well. But of course, look, there's not much news to go from at the minute because Liverpool are fully focused on the Florian Wirtz deal. But again, I think once that's done, we'll start hearing a lot more stories revolving Liverpool Football Club and, of course, many other things going around the football world as well anyway. But we're going to kickstart the show talking about Jarell Quansah. And of course, you know, all the news concerning him and a potential move to Bayer Leverkusen. Obviously talking about Liverpool and, of course, Bayer Leverkusen. We've been speaking for weeks, haven't we, about Florian Wirtz. But it looks like Jarell Quansah is on their list, of course, according to Greg Evans as well, of course, Liverpool writer for The Athletic. Obviously coming out and saying that Bayer Leverkusen are considering a move for the Liverpool defender Jarell Quansah, highly rated at Liverpool and valued at £40 million plus. Quansah is aiming for more minutes next season, and again, £40 million. Like for me, I think it's probably a bit cheap, considering, you know, again, Jarell Quansah, I think just last season renewed his contract at the football club. Again, English tax, you could turn around and say that's, you know, a real thing, but again, with Liverpool putting that price tag on him, of course, we know for a fact Liverpool don't want to let Jarell Quansah go. We want to, again, keep him, and unless, you know, a ridiculous bid comes in for him, then we're going to let him go. Because, look, with Jarell Quansah, of course, he's had, you know, one really good season under Jurgen Klopp, coming into the team, obviously developing so well that, again, I think all of us thought at that time that, again, he would have a future alongside Virgil van Dijk, you know, in developing a lot more. And then last season happened under Arne Slot, where, let's be honest, going into the season, we all thought, didn't we, that Jarell Quansah would have been Liverpool's number one partner to go alongside Virgil van Dijk, because throughout pre-season we didn't necessarily see Ibu Konate playing alongside Virgil van Dijk. It was, for a big period of time, was of course Jarell Quansah, that guy that was consistently behind or consistently with Virgil van Dijk at the start of the season. And then that 45 minutes happened against Ipswich at the start of the season. And, from then on, pretty much Jarell Quansah did not get any minutes, did he? Which is a shame. But also, I think that was just a clear indicator that Arne Slot is not particularly a huge fan of Jarell Quansah compared to what Jurgen Klopp was 12 months ago. And look, in my opinion, I think Jarell Quansah, again, has potential to become a really good centre-half, but definitely at times when we did see him last season, he definitely struggled. And I think maybe that is due to game time. Maybe he's one of these players that does need regular game time to be able to flourish in their team. Because for me, I think, look, Jarell Quansah, in my personal opinion, I think needs a full he needs a full season of backing, really, where again he's consistently playing games after game after game. Like the last season of the Jurgen Klopp, every away game pretty much Jarell Quansah was starting, because again it was just that consistent run, and plus not having Ibu around at most of the time, and also Joe Gomez being injured. But again, he stepped up in certain games. I think back to that season where Palace away, Wolves away, and games like this where you'd think, oh, it's a huge challenge for him, but he looked at ease, didn't he? Many times throughout that season, and look, I think it is a confidence thing where if he goes and plays for a team full on, I think he could be really, really good. And if Liverpool was to sell him, I'd hope we'd have a buyback clause, because if he did develop and get even better, then again, great, Liverpool can look at it and go, look, we can come back and buy you in a couple of years' time. Anyway, but again, let me know your guys' thoughts on Jarell Quansah, especially as well. I think obviously Bayer Leverkusen being involved, I definitely think if Liverpool did say he was available, then I do think we are talking about more, not only Bundesliga teams. I think Premier League teams would come in for Jarell Quansah as well. But I do definitely think a potential loan move is on the cards for him. I don't necessarily think Liverpool are going to sell him, particularly. I think we'd much rather sell Joe Gomez first and keep hold of Jarell Quansah, in my honest opinion anyway. But big up Scottish Bear as well as saying big up Fella. Big up Nixing. Wirtz Medical will be next week, but it's just the way we're trying to pay the add-ons over a few years, and they're not happy with as well. We'll get on to Wirtz a bit later on, but Quansah is a different deal. With the Wirtz one, yes, 100% he will be, if that is to happen, of course. But don't forget, Canate won't sign a new contract, so we can do with Quansah and not being in a bad situation. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's definitely a situation where I think you look at it and go, like, for me particularly, if we were to let Jarell Quansah go, I think it would be a mistake as of things right now. 100% agree with that comment in terms of we have to tie down Ibu first before we even think about bringing in a centre half, really, because at the present moment in time, Liverpool in an ideal world would have liked to have signed Dean Huijsen, and then that decision then of letting him go or potentially losing Ibu, that then is a potential option where you look at it and go, look, if Liverpool get the right type of bid, again, we've got a ready replacement for him. But if Ibu is to go, because again, Liverpool are not going to be, we're not going to sit down really and go, oh yeah, you can make your mind up throughout the season. It's like, no, I think Liverpool this summer, again, will have this honeymoon period from winning the league, and then, turning around and going, look, we have to make a decision. Are you going to sign your contract, or are you going to leave? And I think Liverpool will give Ibu a deadline. They probably would have done already. But in my opinion, I think that is a decision that needs to be made sooner rather than later, of course, anyway. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts down below as well. But big up Hazy as well, saying it's only UK journals who are protecting their access to the clubs, who are playing the club line regarding Wirtz as well. Yeah, we had no news regarding that either, but the deal is done. German journals are all saying it, that it's done. I am looking at the minute. I've not seen anything at the moment. But again, we'll get on to Wirtz in a tiny little bit anyway. But big up John as well saying, hi Con, how many players we will sell in your opinion? I think we'll sell Nunes, Elliott, Gomez, Costas, obviously. Kelleher's already gone, so you can count that as one. I think maybe 5 or 6, I think we'll go. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a bit more. But yeah, that's just my opinion. We're going to need a defender still as well, says Nick as well. Yeah, like 100%. Like the name, I would say, and this is just me purely speculating again, I would say look at Mark Gahey at Spurs, not Spurs, at Palace, sorry, because again he's in the last year of his contract. England international, so homegrown. That's brilliant, really. And for the price that's getting spoken about in terms of experience, like, again, if we sell Joe Gomez and bring in Mark Gahey, that's an improvement, I would say, because again, Mark Gahey can do similar to Joe Gomez. He's very versatile centre half in terms of he can play on the right, he can play on the left, and doesn't look too displaced, either way. Of course, obviously the downside of Joe Gomez, he can also play left back and centre and right back. Sorry, but again, the injuries are a problem with him. And look, if Joe Gomez, if we could get rid of Joe Gomez's injury, I personally would keep Joe Gomez because I think he's a very underrated player for the squad. But I just think because of what, again, the injury history, and again, I think Liverpool themselves thought, after that Plymouth injury that, there might be a chance. Again, we didn't see him at all the second half of the season. And again, that was a shame. Really, and I think again, hopefully we can maybe see the best of Joe Gomez next season because again, Jurgen Klopp's final year. He's probably Liverpool's best defender apart from Virgil van Dijk as well. So yeah, hopefully the injuries will go away next season. But bring Hato in ASAP. Well, to be fair, I think was it Romano mentioned that Arsenal and Chelsea are currently fighting for Hato. Of course, can play left back, can play centre half as well. So yeah, it'll be an interesting one anyway. But his medical is going to be next week around Thursday, says Nick. I thought we'd have gone for Gahey in the window, but I don't think it's going to happen. Gomez will stay with him being versatile, and Slot likes Gomez as well. I think he does. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think he definitely does like him. I think that's also something that you look at and go, it's a very rare thing now that he can play everywhere at the back four, and to think of how long we've had Joe Gomez for as well, it's a very promising thing. Also, I would say with that. But yeah, 100%. I think it's a definite conversation to have at least anyway. But going quickly back on Jarell Quansah anyway, because if you quickly look at this, of course, Florian Plintenberg, again, who did report back, I think at the middle of May, when when things were starting around with Florian Wirtz, that Bayer Leverkusen were considering either Harvey Elliott or Jarell Quansah. But like he has said, Bayer Leverkusen are seriously considering a move for Jarell Quansah, as exclusively revealed. Concrete talks have started between Leverkusen and the players' camp and Liverpool, but no agreement has been reached yet. The potential deal is now seen as independent of the Florian Wirtz imminent transfer to Liverpool. The 22-year-old centre-back is high on Leverkusen's list, but Bayer Leverkusen are currently not pushing for Lorik Bade as well, or Bade, however you want to pronounce his name. I do apologise for that, of course. So would we turn around with this news? Would we say that Jarell Quansah is the number one target off of that? I would say so, really. But again, does Jarell Quansah want to go to Germany? Of course, because again, players have gone out to Germany and they've had great success off of it, of course. But with a World Cup year coming up, does he? Of course, obviously with Eric Ten Hag as the current manager, of course they want to replace Jonathan Tah as well. And again, if he was to be a main starter in Bayer Leverkusen's side, would that then put him in the conversation around the World Cup in a year's time? Possibly. Again, if he excels, great at Bayer Leverkusen, then of course, he could 100% be going onto the plane to the World Cup as well, which I think, again, a lot of players now, I think, will be thinking about this. I think, you look at that England performance, what was it, last night or the night before? Losing to Senegal, the first, I think it's the first English side ever to lose to an African team as well. And again, England won't care because, look, it's a friendly at the end of the day. But I think a lot of English players will be looking at their current futures at the football club, whatever football clubs they are, and thinking, look, there's an opportunity at the moment because, again, Thomas Tuchel's not really picked everyone that he wants for that squad. And, I do think with Jarell Quansah, of course, he's currently at the under-21 tournament with England for the under-21 Euros, of course. So, look, I think there'll be definite conversations going around as well. And look, if he does impress, then you can 100% go to that as well anyway. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts down below anyway. But hang on a minute, I've got something in my... There we go. Got it out. But Gomez is too far. Is too injury prone, has to go. His injury record is shocking as well. Yeah, I can't lie about that. Ian, absolutely it is. But Leverkusen want to put a bit in for Quansah as well. Yeah. Well, again, they've only started talks at the minute. So, again, we'll have to wait and see. But, I'm going to say I can buy a Leverkusen, put £40 million on the table. Again, they're about to get £150 million from us as well, which, yeah, it's quite laughable. Then when I thought about that in my head, I was like, do Leverkusen have the money to do it? Like, of course they have the money to do it. They're about to get 150 million euros from us for Florian Wirtz. Well, I say 150 million euros. It's going to be, what, 140 probably at the end. But Ten Hag taking the players from the teams that beat. Yeah, absolutely. The national team is just a laughing team. Bunch of underperformers. I'd rather have the U21s instead as well. Well, looking at it again, I didn't watch the England game so much. I did have it on, but I didn't really take any interest. And that Senegal team, to be fair, is a really good team. Really, really good. Why are you saying pause, McKindo? Like, get in the bin. Yeah, I wonder. Because again, even watching the few games of Thomas Tuchel for England, it's kind of the question mark of what is England's best team or what is England's system? Because we know Thomas Tuchel, everywhere he's played three at the back. And I think that, when the World Cup comes closer to it, I think that'll be a question mark again of, he's tried to play four at the back. England have not been great because of it. Will he play three at the back and then kind of do, other bits and pieces? But yeah, look, I don't really want to talk about England and World Cup, but yeah, it's an interesting one anyway. But Senegal were all over us. We were like a nation league, or a national league team as well. Typical England, really. Just don't perform. It's typical anyway. But I know I'm going to piss a couple of people off with that anyway. But look, let me know your guys' thoughts on Jarell Quansah anyway. I think for me, I think Liverpool will be a bit reluctant to sell him. I wonder whether or not we are going to, look at a potential, situation where if Joe Gomez isn't going to leave, then it'll be Jarell Quansah. I think it will be one or the other, personally. I think it will be either Jarell Quansah or it will be Joe Gomez that does leave. And at the moment, yeah, personally, I would turn around and say it's gonna be Joe Gomez. I think, in my opinion, but that is just my stupid opinion. Anyway, but again, let me know your guys' thoughts down below. Anyway, but we're gonna move on from Jarell Quansah. And we are going to talk about, obviously, Liverpool's number 3 goalkeeper, obviously, Jaros. Now, again, I'm not going to butcher Jaros' first name, so I do apologize. But yes, he is wanted by Ajax, of course. It is. Obviously, it is taken from Anfield sector. Big up to them guys as well. But it does say that Ajax want Jaros for a one-season loan move from Liverpool. Now, we said it the other day, didn't we, that the goalkeeper signing for that Hungarian goalkeeper, it made a lot of sense if Jaros was going to leave, because there was rumours, wasn't there, a couple of days ago that that Johnny Heitinga was trying to get a move for him and getting him to move to Ajax. And look, I think it'd be great, one, for his development, and two, again, to work under Johnny Heitinga again. And I currently look at it and go, again, Liverpool bringing in a very young goalkeeper, whether or not we're going to use him or, again, another goalkeeper from the academy first, and then, of course, slowly bring him up. But I do think, again, Liverpool will use the Hungarian goalkeeper to be the third choice because, look, bringing in Mamardashvili and, of course, bringing him in now, again, it's a very fresh and new goalkeeper department. But again, obviously the number one is Alisson Becker, and it's most likely going to stay like that for a very long time, of course, anyway. And look, for me, I think it'd be a really good move. Again, season-long loan, if it works out amazingly, again, I think Ajax then might even ask Liverpool to potentially sell him on. But I think, look, Liverpool have very high hopes of him achieving, his potential. And I think, again, when you look at Liverpool's squad, I think, the overall club, I think goalkeeper department, it's probably the best it's ever been in terms of the quality that we've brought in, really. So again, if he can develop into a better goalkeeper in a year's time, then again, I'm all for that move to Ajax as well. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts down below, because I think it will be an interesting one. Because again, obviously Johnny Heitinger obviously going to the Eredivisie with Ajax, and again, it'll be interesting to see how they do as well. Interesting to see how he does, of course, in the Eredivisie and in the Champions League as well. That would be a very interesting one, at least anyway. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section down below anyway. But let's move on then. Let's talk then about obviously the main man, Florian Wirtz, causing a bit of headlines, hasn't he, over the last 24 hours again, really, concerning Liverpool, because go away, McKindo, because Liverpool, the 1 minute, hang on a minute. I'm timing you out. You can get in the bin tonight. There you go. I can put you in the timer. So there we go. Go away, McKindo. But we're going to talk then about David Ornstein and what he's had to say on the thing. Of course, last night it was confirmed by Fabrizio Romano that, again, we did have a here we go on Florian Wirtz. But as you guys can see on screen right now, Florian Wirtz, the Fabrizio Romano again spoke about the here we go, saying that exclusive Florian Wirtz to Liverpool. Here we go. Liverpool verbal agreement. Obviously the deal by Leverkusen package reaching 150 million euros with add-ons included. Player side already agreed. Obviously we already knew this as well, which again I think a lot of people last night, including myself, was straight on it. In terms of the here we go. And I think everyone straight away was like, okay, we're going to hear now from everyone else. We're going to talk about, Paul Joyce's article. We're going to talk about David Ornstein's article. And unfortunately, they never came, did they? It wasn't a thing that happened, unfortunately. But as it does go on to say by here from David Ornstein himself, it does, let me quickly get it up, says, but there, Liverpool and Bayer Leverkusen talks over Florian Wirtz at final stages, clubs in daily contacts to reach a full agreement. Second bid not rejected. Dialogue continues to settle structure, add-ons and payment terms. Al Hilal acquire to Darwin Núñez, of course. And that was what David Ornstein did put out on the situation again. And what again, let me quickly find the article piece for David Ornstein, as I've just knocked myself off. Where have I gone? There we go. That was weird then. It just disappeared. Yeah, we'll quickly get up David Ornstein's report on it as well. As he said on screen right there. There we go. Liverpool and Bayer Leverkusen in final stages for Florian Wirtz. As it does go on to say, that's obviously from David Ornstein, negotiations between Liverpool and Bayer Leverkusen over a deal taking Florian Wirtz to Anfield are in the final stages, with the club speaking daily as they try to reach an agreement. Liverpool have made an improved second offer for the 22-year-old German playmaker last week with 134 million euros, which works out around 113 million pounds and 100 million guaranteed. This proposal was not rejected as such, and talks continue in order to settle on a package that is not that is acceptable to both sides. But Liverpool have no intention to bid as high as the reported 150 million euros, which takes up to 126.4 million pounds asking price for the attacking midfielder. The discussions, led by Liverpool sporting director Richard Hughes and Leverkusen managing director Simon Rolfos, as well as it says, are now mainly focused on the structure and specifically payment terms, plus nature of any add-ons. A medical has also yet to be arranged. The first part of this summer's transfer window created for the Club World Cup is now closed and will not reopen until June 16th, given time for both clubs to agree on the finer details of this agreement. And of course, to say the transfer aligned to Leverkusen not specifically needing to trade, and Liverpool wanting to work within their prematures explains why the parties are going into such detail over the situation and not taking understandable impatience to find a resolvement as well. Which, yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts anyway in the comments. But yeah, for me, I think, like, just judging from it, I think we'll hear something tomorrow, because, and I said this earlier on in a group chat, for me, of course, we know Trent Alexander-Arnold's going to be signing for Madrid tomorrow. Liverpool did something quite similar with Jeremy Frimpong, that we had announced or give the information away on a club side, that once again we were going for Jeremy Frimpong, and of course that was before the whole Trent Alexander-Arnold news to Real Madrid even broke. It broke and then we signed Frimpong as well. So I think Liverpool could do something similar like that. Whether or not we're going to do something around that is another question itself. But look, obviously the conversations are that Liverpool are taking their time. Leverkusen as well are working very closely with this type of situation, because it is a very, I would say it's a very difficult situation to be in, because again, Liverpool want to take their time and again not overpay, and also if Liverpool can offer a ridiculous amount of add-ons, then let's say in terms of not being achievable, then I think we'll end up doing that. But look, either way, as long as Florian Wirtz is in a Liverpool shirt at the start of next season, I absolutely don't care. Either way, but Leverkusen want the money in a quicker time than the one that was on the table, as well. So from Nick, paperwork is being done. Hello, Ben. What the fuck? Jesus Christ, that profile picture. The fourth bid for Wirtz, and the last one, but it was accepted by Leverkusen. But we want to pay 100 million up front and the rest over the next years, etc. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. They are guaranteed 100 million pounds, and that in itself doesn't take it over the reported, what is it, 115 million. For Moises Caicedo. Again, I don't know how much of that was in add-ons, but I don't think it was a lot. I think that was just purely, bid, really. But I would turn around and say that I think Liverpool will end up going over that. I do think it will be a record-breaking fee. Fabrizio Romano claims that it's it's 150 million euros, which would take it up to 127 million pounds. I just don't think it's going to be that high, in my opinion. Again, that's just my opinion. I think we are looking at, similar to what Lewis Steele said, I think 118, 119 might be the final number for us. But at the end of the day, like, as long as Liverpool have Florian Wirtz in their team, then look, that's all I care about. And look, if we can add a striker to that can actually finish and actually create, then again, brilliant. And look, Liverpool are comfortably, I would say, favourites for the Premier League again next season as well. But hello from your timeout as well, saying great signings, says McKindo. Shirky was the backup, and what if we don't get Wirtz now? Too many chickens. in the same basket. No, we are 100% getting Florian Wirtz. Nick, I wouldn't worry about that. It's a matter of when, not if. With Florian Wirtz, and for me, I think we absolutely get him. No questions asked, really. And the one thing I would also say as well is that I don't think Liverpool's summer is done with that either. Again, I don't think we're not going to splash out hundreds of millions again, but it's not as over as I saw a couple of people yesterday after the whole 150 million euro bid, because again, a lot of people, and this is the thing that I found really funny last night as well, people cannot determine the difference between a pound coin or a pound sign and a euro sign, because the amount of TikToks and YouTube videos I've seen of people going, "Oh, Liverpool are paying 170 million pounds for 170 million euros, sorry, for Florian Wirtz." It's like, no, we're not doing that. It's if it is at the max, it's 150 million euros, which in pounds is 127 million pounds. But yeah, I just thought it was really funny yesterday when I consistently seen people going, "Oh no, but Liverpool are going to be spending 170 million euros." It's like, no, we're not. I don't know where on earth you've come up with that number, but we're definitely not spending 100 and plus million. And one thing I will say though as well, yesterday in the Here We Go video, I did say it's the second highest transfer of all time. Completely forgot about Kylian Mbappe going to PSG. Just completely blown over my head that PSG bought him for 180 million euros, which unreal transfer that. But of course, PSG do own the record for Mbappe and Neymar, of course. But Big Up Anthony as well, saying Kolo Muani would be a good striker for us as well. Well, he'll probably need a new home, won't he? But I don't know. I've always said though, I mean, Liverpool, we're going to be linked one day to a random striker that no one's talking about, and then we'll end up signing him. If that player is Kolo Muani, again, I've watched probably 2-3 games of him last season, 1 for PSG, 2 for Juventus, and he was pretty decent in one of the games. But I don't know. I think for the price tag they're going to ask for him, I just don't see it. Honestly, but again, could be absolutely surprised and shocked with what we will see in the future, of course. But what else do we have anyway? But let me quickly have a look what that was, because that was transfer news for Liverpool Football Club. What's going on with Hugo Ekitike? Hang on a minute, chat. Hang on a minute. What's this? So it does. So obviously, Ben Jacobs saying Chelsea do hold an interest in Hugo Ekitike, but I think it's Liverpool who are really there. Chelsea were never as advanced as people say. As well, very interesting to see. Anyway, but what else do we have? Liverpool haven't even got one player in the top 10 record signings in Premier League history. That will change soon. Well, be number one, won't it? To be fair. And the other thing as well with Florian Wirtz that I seen last night and this morning was Man City fans, becoming a bit jealous or a bit enraged by this whole Florian Wirtz saga, and they're going, "Oh, Liverpool claim they've got no money, but they did a world record, or they have the world record fee for a goalkeeper." Well, we don't. It's Kepa Arrizabalaga for Chelsea, which that's quite ironic because he's now gone to Arsenal. Liverpool's got the world record fee for a defender. No, we don't. It's Harry Maguire for Manchester United, and Liverpool have the world record fee for ever a player, and obviously for Liverpool in the Premier League, 100% we do now if the Wirtz deal does go ahead. But overall, of course, it's still Neymar and Kylian Mbappe who beat him, but still. If it is the 150 million euros, then look, at the end of the day, I'm over the moon. Liverpool, go on to do it. But good season coming up now with the Zupermendy going to the arse wipes as well. I like that, to be fair, Nick. And Shitty getting Jerky and Wirtz to Liverpool midfielders are going to be the main thing to watch. Yeah, I think number 10s are going to be the big thing to watch. I think football over the last 10 years, I think people have gone away from the number 10. And I think over the last couple of seasons, of course, or the last decade, we've had 4-3-3s, playing more of 2 attacking 8s and again, having again, DMs, for example. But I just think now we're seeing an era of football where teams are using the number 10 a lot more. Like similar now, I think next season with City, you can see Reinders and Rodri playing as a double pivot, with Shirky playing in the 10. Same with us. We could see, Gravenberch, McAllister, and Florian Wirtz playing as a 3, but obviously Maka and Grav as a double pivot, Wirtz as a 10, Szoboszlai as well, adding to that as well. And, Arsenal have done it recently again when, now you'd probably think it'd be Zubimendi and Rice being in a double pivot, or, Rice being more of a, more pushing forward with Odegaard as the 10. And I think next season it will be the battle of the 10s for Liverpool, not for Liverpool, for the Premier League, sorry. So I do think, in my opinion, they are the players that you're going to have to watch out for next season, 100%. But I'm sure you're getting the players with 115 over their heads. National League is going to be good for them and the other fans. Well, yeah, absolutely. Big up Ozan as well. Hope you're doing well. We still have Coutinho money, apparently. Yeah, well, we're using it very well now, aren't we? It's finally being used in good effect, John. Anyway, but yeah, we still have the Coutinho money coming up slowly, anyway, but surely, at least anyway. But look, hopefully, you guys have had a fantastic days anyway. I'm just seeing if there's any other news in regards to Florian Wirtz, because I don't think there is, unless I've missed something. Hang on a minute. Is there anything else? That's a ad block that I don't want. But yeah, as of things right now, there's nothing else on the Florian Wirtz news. My guess is I think, again, David Ornstein and Paul Joyce, I think they will come out tomorrow morning with, here we go, or, for them, a done deal. I just got a feeling that we're going to try and upset that Trent thing, which, by the way, before we do shoot off, has anybody seen the whole, Trent's no longer going to have Alexander-Arnold on his back. He's going to have Trent, and he's going to wear the number 12. Yes, that's very funny. Very, very funny. But yeah, Warren absolute entitled. I'm not going to say the rest, but yeah, thank God he's gone. Really, again, amazing footballer, but genuinely his head has just boom, like gone full Jude Bellingham then, really. But yeah, it's he'll regret. He will regret the move. 100% he will. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts. But what would you say to City fans that are mocking us for spending so much money? Can't just grow up, really. Let's be honest. Nunes did a video of going to Saudi for the money. Yeah, it was a part of a was it a challenge video with Luis Diaz? But yeah, look, at the end of the day, it's whether or not he goes to Saudi is another thing. Anyway, but we'll have to wait and see for that, of course. Anyway, but look, hopefully you guys have a fantastic rest of your days. Anyway, a good rest of your day, I should say. Anyway, that's easy to get out of a tongue twister. Well, I have promised this video, but this video will be coming out on Friday for you guys, so make sure you are staying tuned for that. It is coming out on Friday. And yeah, of course, any other news that does break, again, knowing my luck, in about half an hour, the news will break about from David Ornstein and any other journals as well, talking about Florian Wirtz. But yeah, any other bits of news will be live for it, of course. And yeah, hopefully you guys have a fantastic rest of your days. And yeah, I'll see you guys later on for another episode anyway. But I've been Connor from the Cock Council. We'll see you guys in a bit. Ta-ra.